Hey guys, this is 012 Boku again, coming at you with another movie review. And as you probably saw with the little board there, I thought I was going to be on to Shrek the Third today, but that will be another week. And Shrek the Third should have been it, but I realized through other popular junction that I forgot one other film. Sorry, yeah, this one, Ratatouille. Because I realized I thought I had reviewed it. I did not, and I recently watched it a little bit ago. So I do apologize for that. And now I'm going to review this because I did want to review all the movies in my collection, and this is one. And now Ratatouille is one of those Disney movies that, yes, I will agree, I did not think much of the film when it had first come out. I thought it was a little of a ridiculous premise, and, how would it be funny, and, a mouse that takes control of a boy, who can't cook, and da-da-da-da, and, I didn't think much of it, not hardly anything really at all. But after watching it again this last time, I found out that it's actually a very well put together film, and I've been enjoying it. Quite a lot, and it was actually a better viewing this time around. And it was, quite a great thing to view. Sorry here, I admit I'm setting up some things here for this as well, because when it comes to voice acting, unless I know the film really well, I don't know a lot of the voice actors, and I do love to give credit where credit's due, where I go to movie source sites to at least know the actors' correct names and who is involved in what. And like I will get into right now, Ratatouille is actually a very good gem, and it was done quite well. And it's about a mouse here, this guy, I think is it, Remy, Remy, voiced by Patton Oswalt, who, can't really comment that much on Patton Oswalt's career, because didn't really know much of what he did. I thought it was, Dave Foley from Spin City, but it's not Dave Foley from Spin City, it's Patton Oswalt. And Patton Oswalt, who plays Remy on the top there, is a mouse who is living in a colony of a rat living in a colony of rats, I should say, sorry. And he likes his situation, but at the same time, he doesn't. I mean, he loves his family, cares about his family deeply, but he hates being a regular rat, having to go around looking for garbage, and then, apparently he's always had a knack for human food, and, he's always done what he could to like it and get at it, and when he gets at certain human food one morning when the rats go out to eat, he actually can sense and know the difference between real food and rat poison, or traps to affect his family. So he gets nominated as the poison tester or trap detector in his family, and still doesn't enjoy that, doesn't like it. What happens is he goes into this lady's house, which is actually basically regular cottage-sized house, and he goes in there and he sees a chef, and a chef that inspires him, and it is Chef Cousteau, who actually is a really well-known chef in Paris, France, and he's well-known and renowned for things he's cooked around the world. And Remy gets his inspiration from wanting to cook from that, so he keeps going back to the house, wanting to cook and do lots and lots of great things and fun things, and he just wants to keep improving his style, which he actually learns and does just by having a cookbook and paying attention to certain things and details like that. And sadly, in the long story short, the old lady in the house gets a hold of Remy, who's in there, and she tries to kill him, and then finds out the whole rat colony is above her own house, so they have to basically vacate, and they get separated, and that's what starts Remy down on his food eating journey when he gets lost in Paris, and just has to try to find his own way through Paris, having lost his family and everything. And then let's see, we have oh yes, the great Ian Holm as a chef named Skinner, who has taken over Gusto's after a shockingly spoiler for anyone who wants to see this, because what I gave you is basically a basic synopsis of the beginning that starts Remy on his journey, but at this point it's a spoiler. Gusto had died, I guess, 5 years earlier when Remy arrives at the restaurant, and we find out that this man named Skinner is a person who took over the restaurant, and he just tries to, run it, make it famous, but at the same time he's working under the radar of what Chef Gusteau really wanted, which he's, not just cooking good food, he's trying to get the food modernized and commercialized by selling frozen foods and other good things. Like, he's trying to make more money off the Gusteau name than actually caring about the food process himself. So Skinner basically is a weasel character that Ian Holm does really well, and what happens is, which I'll get to the next character in a moment, his name is Linguini. When we get to Linguini, Remy teams up with Linguini to try to cook the food, and Linguini, who sadly, as I will get into in a moment, does not have a Shrek and speck of cooking ability in him. Remy takes over and cooks for him, and who would want to have a rat cook deliciously prepared food? It would still be gross with tons and a lot of people, and it's just one of those funny things. And Skinner obviously sees Remy at some point, and then he's trying to always catch Remy and Linguini in the act, but he never can, and it just drives him nuts, as we will know. Plus, there's another thing that Skinner gets into, which will actually lead into the next character, who I believe is the one I just mentioned. Yep, it is Linguini, voiced by Lou Romano. Now, I don't know if Lou Romano is the son of Ray Romano or not. I have not really looked into him that much, but Lou Romano does a good job here in this movie. He's a young chef who is just trying to make his way into the world, who his mother, I guess, sent him to Skinner and Chef Gusteau's, basically by saying, come here, let the kid work on his craft. Skinner, doesn't really want to pay attention to that, so he sends Linguini, out to be just the regular busboy and cleaner. And what happens is Linguini tries to, I guess, spice up some of the dishes and do things his way, but the thing is, Remy is there when that's going on, and Remy tastes some of Linguini's dishes, and they turn out to be horrible, just, completely awful, and then, obviously Remy spices them up, and Skinner sees Linguini doing what he's doing, and Linguini just, tries to defend himself, but he can't because, he's a bumbling fool, and, Ray Romano just plays it off so well because, it's like, he's a young kid, he's a nice kid, but he doesn't have that much talent when it comes to cooking. And now the one other big thing with Linguini is that Skinner finds out is Linguini had this letter with him, and apparently this was Gusteau's and Linguini's mother's love child. Apparently that, Linguini is the heir to the Gusteau name and cooking throne, if you want to say, which Skinner will do anything that he possibly can to stop, Linguini finding out so he could take over the company, and Skinner does not want that whatsoever. So, that's basically Linguini, and, Ray Romano just plays him, fairly well, and, it's just a really, really sweet kid. And in case you didn't know who he is there, he's there. And I know for those of you who also want to know, that is Skinner, the guy who Ian Holm voices. And, as soon as we move on, oh yes, we have Remy's father next, who's actually voiced by Django, Remy's father Django, who's actually voiced by Brian Dennehy, who does a great job. And basically Django is a character who keeps the family together, keeps the colony together. He wants Remy and or Remy's brother Emile to take over, and Remy doesn't want that part of the life, and Django is just trying to teach him why the life is so important and why being the colony is there and why he shouldn't have these aspirations of cooking and being with humans, because at one point Django takes Remy to a city street, and there's like dead rats in this rat shop and poison, and I think like people in France, like I'm pretty sure it's a dish and a delicacy at some point, but I guess people cook rats as well for like a type of food, but you know Django once again uses this to Remy as a warning to that you can't trust humans, you can't trust things, because you never know what you'll evidently find and how deep it will go. And he's just trying to keep his son out of trouble. And Brian Dennehy plays the role very well. The fatherly figure fits him, and he really just cares about the family. And it's like basically typical family man who wants to do right by the people he knows. And later on, finds out what Remy's doing and helps out Remy a lot, actually, instead of arguing with him and fighting him. So, Brian Dennehy does great work on that. And then, let's see, there is, let's see, oh yes, Peter's son, who, does Emile, and Remy's brother, and Peter's son, don't know too much what he does either. Sorry guys, I know I have some background into these characters and actors, but Peter's son is, good actor. He plays Remy, or Remy's brother, Emile, like I said, who Emile is a bit of a doofus, but yet his heart's in the right place. He wants to do what's right by the colony and not stir up waves and, create a lot of trouble, which Remy sort of does with the cooking thing, and when he gets, the colony lost out of, let's see, oh yeah, the house they're in, Remy and Emile and his dad Django get, separated, and it's actually Emile who finds Remy again, and Emile's like eating something disgusting like garbage and stuff, which Emile's fine with doing that, because Remy tried to get Emile to eat well-prepared food, but Emile couldn't taste anything or get anything from it, so Emile, is just a sort of ignorance is bliss guy. He doesn't care if it's well-prepared or whatnot. He's hungry and he'll eat, so, he's a good guy, got a good heart on his shoulders, and will do what's right for the colony, but yeah, he's the goofball of the film, really, besides Linguini, of course. And then we have Brad Garrett, who voices Gusteau, and we see Gusteau through, commercial images and things like that, but he's also a main driving force for Remy for the film, because he keeps telling Remy through Remy's imagination to keep going, to keep living, and to just keep doing what he can and cooking and accomplishing his dream. And it's funny to see how Remy is giving Gusteau life in this picture, and it's always fun to see Brad Garrett, because Brad Garrett is always a go-to guy for Pixar, that big stature he always carries in live action, his voice most of all, that bass voice he has, and he just does it well. And almost in this film you can't tell that he does Chef Gusteau, but then when you listen to it really closely you can hear that, yeah, that's Brad Garrett, just with a French accent. But either way, just great work, and it's a very fun character to do, and it's always lovely to hear Brad Garrett's voice. And then there's like one oh, whoops, I forgot one. There is a critic in this film called Anton Ego, who is actually brilliantly voiced by Peter O'Toole. I didn't think it was Peter O'Toole at first, thought it was Ian McKellen, but after, reading the credits, it is actually Peter O'Toole, which I was shocked by, and I thought was actually a good choice, because Peter O'Toole plays, once again, Anton Ego, who is this food critic who is very ghoulish in his figure. He's dark, he's cynical, he really wants to prove people wrong. That's what he really enjoys, and he's just this dark figure, and he's a driving force for the film as well, because he is sort of a consolation, or not consolation, a catalyst actually, for why Chef Gusteau went down in business, because he had something of Chef Gusteau's, I forgot what it was. He gave it a poor rating, which then dropped Gusteau's 5-star restaurant to a 4-star restaurant, and that caused a lot of grief for Chef Gusteau, and people say that's how Chef Gusteau died. He died a broken man because of what Anton Ego said. And when of course Remy and Linguini are working together to cook this food, Anton Ego gets a hint of this, and he wants to put both, if you will, Linguini, but also, as Remy knows, he's also on the chopping block too if this goes wrong. So he's putting both, literally, Linguini and Remy through the test. And Anton Ego is just enjoying it because he wants to prove these people wrong. And Peter O'Toole's voice and just his stature comes off so well in this, picture. I mean, once again, it's sad that, Peter O'Toole is dead and then he's passed on. I mean, of course, he was old, but I mean, once again, just a great voice and a great actor just lends himself to this. And it's sort of sad to see that, Peter O'Toole had to pass on. I think it was a few years ago now, but yeah, it's like, just very great work for this film as that dark figure of Anton, Anton Ego. There we go. And then finally, one major voice worth knowing here, which once again took me for a loop. I didn't think she was in this. Janeane Garofalo, who plays Colette, who's actually a female chef who is trying to basically make a thing for women in the chef world and the cooking world, because it's like women are still, I guess, looked down upon, and Colette is just a tough woman. She puts it all on there, and she's just very strong and wants to do right. And when Skinner actually assigns Colette to Linguini, Colette's upset. She thinks that Linguini's gonna take everything from her, and she doesn't like him. But then they start getting to know their cooking process, and she starts to like him. But then there's always friction between the two characters, because he can't tell her that it's Remy helping him make the food through grabbing onto his hair and moving his muscles involuntarily, and just all those different cool things, and it just causes friction between them. But she's more than likely a very strong character. Well, I should say, a very strong character. And I don't know if this is just me, but I've seen Janeane Garofalo do several voice acting things, and it's funny to see how she always plays the tough character. And since I showed everybody else, this is for here. That's Colette right there, and it's just usually what Janeane Garofalo does. She plays tough characters in at least animation film, because another film I will get to explain that at one point is she plays a tough alien female creature called Stiffen, Titan AE. Want to always say AI, but it's AE, and she's a very cool tough character in that film as well. So that's basically the main cast, and overall, Ratatouille is just a fun film. I mean, you get to learn a lot about cooking and, good dishes in this. The animation is crisp. It's well put together. It's good CGI for what it is, I will admit. For me being, a sort of hated advocate of CGI. I mean, if it's done right, I love it. But if it's quick and rushed, it's like, cool. I mean, this is where I appreciate most CGI is in cartoons nowadays. Now, I think I've said this in my videos before, guys. I do appreciate 2D animation still. I wish America would still do more, other than Japan, Europe, and all the other countries that don't seem to sadly be America at this point. Because we're totally into this. Now, this isn't bad, but I would love us to see us go back to our roots and see some 2D animation done, because I think we still have it in us to do it. But I know people saying, cost and time consuming and, blah, 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 blah. It's like, come on, let's do the stuff that made us well known for our craft, and not just be lazy about it and use this. And I know people say CGI is hard to do, but it's like, yes, it is, but I mean, it's also the simple thing to do and the cheaper thing to do. I know it's still expensive, but it is relatively cheaper than doing things by hand. So sorry for that rant there, but I just wanted to once again get that out there. And overall, great characters, just lovely settings. I mean, you can tell they obviously went to Paris and did some modeling work, and they modeled for a lot of the foods they did, and it's just well put together. I'm not sure. Let me take a check. Let me take a check here. But I think it was. Oh wait, do they have it on the bottom here? Oh yes, they do. Thought it was Harry Gregson Williams who did the music, but it's actually Michael Giacchino from film and video game fame from like I think it's the I think maybe the Call of Duty games and Medal of Honor games Michael Giacchino did the music for. So, great, fantastic melodic score by him, and just very, very well done, and just very entertaining, and overall, this is once again a great film on, I would have to say, like, following your dreams, knowing how to cook more importantly, and not giving up on certain things that you can do in friendship and family. So a lot of good themes and a very, very enjoyable film. I would recommend this to any family and anybody who loves food and just loves a good old-fashioned time with Disney films. So this is definitely a true gem by Disney after watching this a second time. And, just let me know what you guys think. Do you like Ratatouille? Do you think it was how I sort of thought it was with the first time? Was it sadly a waste of space of the film? Or, what was it for you guys? So just let me know, in any comments or anything if you guys want to put them down there. And, this is 012 Boku. I will probably be coming back to you with another film in a little bit time. So be patient, and I will tell you honestly, since I now have fixed Ratatouille and did the review for Ratatouille, that it will be Shrek the Third, because I know I did I think it was Over the Hedge last time, and Shrek the Third was the next film, and I watched that, so it will be Shrek the Third for next time. Alright, we'll see you guys then. Alright, bye bye.